Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Quite a crowd tonight. I want to ask a couple of things. Please silence your phone. Please silence your phone. At any point in time, if you need to be, please do so as quietly as possible. Let's have a meeting that is going forward.
We're good.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman DeFranco? Councilman Edwards?
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez? Councilwoman King? Here. Council President Bethia?
President. Mr. Reagan, we have a presentation.
Good evening, Council. If you recall, some months ago, the city received a grant to develop a community energy plan. With that grant, we brought in a consultant, Blue Sky, who has assisted us with doing community surveys, getting feedback, and assembling a community energy plan. Then meeting with Blue Sky will be making a presentation this evening. Get council feedback, and go to adopt that plan and begin to implement that in the community.
Just me.
Good evening, Mr. President, council members, Mr. Mayor, members of the public. Thanks for being here. I'm Ben Parby. I'm the CEO of Blue Sky Power. We do clean energy projects for schools, towns, and universities stuff across the state of New Jersey, as well as other places as well. We worked for about the last almost 2 years on putting together your community energy plan, working with Kevin and his team, Heather, and others in the city who help provide a lot of information and resources. It's from a grant from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities to help the city align its energy initiatives with the state's energy master plan. So for about the last 18 years, the state of New Jersey has had an energy master plan, and a couple years ago, they decided to start making it possible for cities and towns and boroughs across the state to align their energy initiatives with the state's energy master plan. So it was actually pretty forward thinking. Most states just, it's a hodgepodge. New Jersey tried to align it by giving cities and towns a grant to allow them to come up with a strategy. So the community energy plan, was designed to coordinate your activities for clean energy, things like efficiency in the transportation sector, meaning like hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, things like solar, energy efficiency, like LED lights and motion sensors and things like that, to reduce some of the energy consumption in municipal facilities. So we've done that. Here are the strategies. Sorry, let me turn this. So we make this for council and folks to be able to see it. So everyone see that a little bit better? See that for the most part? Everyone good? All right. Just want to make sure everyone gets a chance. I'll try not to say it right. But under the state's energy master plan, there are 7 different strategies. So they're reducing consumption and emissions from the transportation sector, trucks, cars, vehicles, forklifts, etc. Strategy 2 is accelerating deployment of renewable energy distributed generation. So think, solar on houses, homes, things like geothermal, etc. Strategy 3 is maximizing energy efficiency and reducing peak demand. Sorry, I don't know how to close that while I'm presenting, but don't worry about it. It says I'm supposed to be here right now, and I am here. Strategy 4, like I said, reducing energy consumption emissions from the building sector. That's generally for new construction. So, creating a set of rules for new construction, and also just letting builders know that there are incentives through New Jersey's clean energy program and through the utilities as well. Strategy 6 is encourage and supporting partnership with low, moderate income and environmental justice communities. And strategy 7 is expanding the clean energy innovation economy, looking at newer technologies. So think things like battery storage that are coming. You see like the Tesla Powerwall, or batteries that can tie with solar, or even the grid that allow you to have grid backup. So I'm going to go through each of those fairly quickly. I know you have a big agenda. I know what people want to talk about lots of other things other than hear me babble. So I'm going to try to cover it fairly quickly and let you get back to your business. But the state requirements for the grant required me to be here and tell you what the city's put in your energy master plan or your community energy plan. So ripping through these, you'll see each of them mirror each other. So strategy one, like I said, is related to reducing emissions from the transportation sector. So in order to do that, first one is adopting a supportive zoning ordinance and regulations around electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Just what are the rules that the city will have on file for where you can put charging infrastructure, how much permitting fee if the city wants to encourage people to have electric vehicles, maybe make the permitting fee a little bit less. And again, this is just a planning document. This is not a set of things that the city is required to do in any way. It's just things that you might want to consider and then creating a plan how over the next 3 to 5 years you might be able to implement them. So I want to make sure everyone realizes the city's not required to do any of this stuff. The Board of Public Utilities isn't going to require anyone to do anything, but it's a strategy about how to reduce emissions within your community. 1.2 is training first responders, so training fire and police how to respond to electric vehicle fires. It's not the same as a gas fire, so there's a little bit of training that's required, and there are resources available to help them with that. 1.3 is training non-emergency municipal employees, so think code enforcement officials for how to inspect new electric vehicle chargers once they're put in the community. 1.4 is purchasing alternative fuel vehicles. So you've probably seen Ford F-150 Lightnings or Chevy Bolts, are used for code enforcement vehicles. A lot of Department of Public Works have gotten grants to get a Ford F-150 for Department of Public Works. And so one of our towns, similar in population size, has gotten some hybrid police vehicles. So I think Ford Explorer now has hybrid police vehicles. So ways to reduce emissions within the municipal fleet. 1.6 is installing public EV chargers that are available, for a city as well as for residents open to the public. And there are some grants from the state of New Jersey for those as well. 1.7 is encouraging non-municipal fleets to reduce emissions. So that may be just providing some information from the Board of Public Utilities and from the utilities to some of your businesses that operate fleets that might want to reduce emissions in the city. 1.8 is encouraging workplace EV charging infrastructure, encouraging some of the larger employers to install EV chargers. 1.9 is community EV outreach, having information available at municipal events on electric vehicles. You'll see that this is going to mirror solar and energy efficiency as well. A lot of the state grant is about public outreach, making sure the utilities and the New Jersey Clean Energy Program have information and resources available about the incentives and rebates that are out there. And 1.10 is anti-idling ordinance put on file so people don't just sit outside the Wawa, leave the car running. You've probably seen signs somewhere that say, no idling, turn cars off. That's what that's about, creating a plan to reduce some emissions by not just leaving our cars running. So that's strategy one. And that's the longest one, so it's going to get faster from here. Strategy 2 is about accelerating deployment of renewable energy. Think solar, geothermal, things that you can do to offset traditional sources of energy. You'll see this kind of mirrors the first one. We start with adopting a supportive zoning ordinance, letting solar installers and residents and businesses know what the rules and regulations are for installing solar here in the city of Bridgeton. 2.2 is post a solar permitting checklist, again, so that installers, solar installers, and residents or businesses know what the permitting requirements are here in the city. 2.3, like we saw before with the transportation, 2.3 is training first responders. So putting out a fire on a house with solar is different than putting out a fire on a house without solar. So the firefighters need to know what to do to take safety precautions for how to deal with the electrical components. 2.4, training non-emergency staff, relating again, code enforcement officials. What do the construction department here in the city need to do when they go inspect a solar installation? 2.5, installing on-site municipal solar generation. It's whether the city wants to consider putting solar on any of the municipal facilities to help reduce your energy consumption from traditional power. 2.8 institute solar purchasing outreach program, where the city can make available information about solar to residents and possibly have a situation where some of the solar installers would offer discounts to City of Bridgeton residents. 2.11 is support community solar as a project ambassador. Now this is a really great one because I've been working on solar for almost 20 years now. And we've done lots of schools and lots of the towns you see across South Jersey that have them. We were their consultants on or helped in some way on. With this, if you see some of the solar installations like on a landfill or something, and you wonder what that's powering, people can get a bill credit on their Atlantic City electric bill for 20 to even up to 40% off their electric over the long term. But every single bill, you're able to save money. So I like being able to help towns implement clean energy, but that the municipality sees the reduction of cost on their electric bill. And although that impacts the taxpayers, you don't necessarily see it on your electric bill. But with a community solar subscription, residents are able to see it directly on their bills. So it's a pretty exciting thing that has become newer over just the last couple of years, and state of New Jersey made it possible. And they also have a carve-out that 50% of all of those projects around are required to have low to moderate income subscribers. So it's a great advantage and a way to save money on electric bills, and it's a big chunk of change. And you see it immediately on your Atlantic City electric bill, not sort of way in the distance. So it's a good program, and we provide more information to the city about it. And then this is the Support Community Solar as a outreach coordinator is doing just what I said, where the city might make a program like that available, find a provider who can do that, and then make those discounts available to residents. All right, from here on out, we're going a lot faster because the next strategies are much shorter. So strategy 3 is about maximizing energy efficiency and conservation and reducing your peak demand. So reducing peak demand means on those days when, was that 2 weeks ago when it was 104? I guess it was 3 weeks ago. It was like 104, 105. Everyone's pumping the air. The grid can't handle it. And we want to reduce that peak demand because it's also really expensive. So we want to work on ways to reduce the peak demand. And there are a bunch of savings programs and programs that offer money directly to the city for reducing their peak demand on those highest temperature days. So number 1 is upgrading energy efficiency for municipal facilities. Like I said, things like newer heating and air, LED lighting, which obviously this is LED lighting here, motion sensors in bathrooms so we don't just leave the lights on all the time. Things like remote control thermostats, so your Department of Public Works can control thermostats in buildings. We've had a bunch of towns where they look and on a Sunday all the power's on in a building and no one's there. So folks from the Department of Public Works can go on their phone and just turn that down and control it that way. 1.2, these actually all kind of go hand in hand. This, like I said, is about energy efficiency outreach. 3.2 is residential, 3.3 is commercial, and 3.4 is outreach to large energy users, the biggest users in town. So Atlantic City Electric give us a list of like the 5 biggest energy users, and Kevin will call them up and say, hey, have you considered reducing your energy? And then he'll give them the resources to do that. 3.2 and 3.3 is, like I said, reaching out at community events and letting folks know about the State of New Jersey Clean Energy Program and the Atlantic City Electric and South Jersey Gas incentives and rebates to reduce your energy consumption. Okay, strategy 4, like I said, is about reducing energy consumption emissions from the building sector. Think new construction here. Folks want to build a new development or a new building here. 4.1 is implementing a green building policy where you may encourage future municipal buildings to be done using green materials or in a more energy efficient way. Not requiring it, but as a consideration. 4.3 is benchmarking and commissioning for existing buildings. Reaching out to building owners, large building owners, and say, hey, you want to look at your energy consumption now, see how much you use, and see if you can maybe retro commission or work on tuning up some of your HVAC and other equipment so it operates in a more efficient way. 4.4 is requesting developers to complete a green development checklist. Again, not requiring them to do anything, but instead saying, have you considered green building materials and energy efficiency and all the other opportunities to save on energy in new construction when they submit for their permits or for site plan approval. 4.5 is conducting outreach targeting new construction. So construction office has a list of everyone submitting for permits. They may want to reach out and say, here are ways that you can save money with energy efficiency. 6.1 is about supporting low, moderate income and environmental justice communities. Obviously, City of Bridgeton is an overburdened community. We want to make sure that those incentives from those programs come here to City of Bridgeton. 6.1 is about making community energy planning inclusive. Heather Morin sent out a survey to residents, find out what they thought about the community energy plan, which was posted on the website. Obviously, you want to get any feedback you may have today, and on an ongoing basis, reach out and let us know how you want to consider energy and the evolution of energy here in the city. 6.2 is conducting energy efficiency outreach to low, moderate income residents, kind of what I was talking about related to 6.1. 6.4, support low, moderate income community solar subscriptions. Same way I was just talking about those community solar subscriptions apply to this specific strategy I just mentioned a minute ago. 6.5 is conducting energy efficient outreach to community serving institutions, so faith-based organizations and other organizations that support at-risk members of the community. We want to make sure that they're reaching out, and we're going to make sure they have information about those programs to those organizations. And then that brings us down to the last strategy, and there's only one initiative here. I told you it'd get faster as we go along. Strategy 7.1 is adopt supportive energy storage policies. As I mentioned earlier, things like battery storage. There's some other things like downtown thermal loop and things like that apply more to like Atlantic City and Trent that have those big thermal loops downtown. Not necessarily applicable to here in the city of Bridgeton. We're talking energy storage policies, kind of like we talked about EV and solar. With energy storage, those batteries that you can tie to solar or to the grid to reduce peak demand, or even add as backup power, you just want to have an ordinance on file so that you know what the permitting requirements are, and things like setbacks, things like distance, things like fire protection. We want to make sure those ordinances are on the books, so council is able to adopt something that allows folks to know what the rules are related to putting that newer technology here in your city. So I appreciate your indulgence. I tried to get through it. You had a comprehensive plan, and we covered a lot. The plan is available on the website in both Spanish and English, meaning on the city website. And you can take a look, offer any feedback. Mr. President, happy to entertain any questions from members of council. The state does encourage us to get input from the public as well if you see fit.
Any comments from the council?
Yeah, there are a lot of great programs in the state to help you do that.
Yeah, this is a great time to present this, and a great time for our community at large who are in attendance today, just kind of see what we see as council, so they encourage you to attend more, so that way you know what's going on and what's being presented to the city. So it's a good time, because we have other things on it, to have, get some input from our community. You may not.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. We do have it in our agenda. Opportunity to look at it. So if you have any comments or questions, you can share that with the business administrator.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, your mics are not on.
Mic check.
Yep.
Let me start at the beginning. Good evening, everyone. Okay, very good. We do have it in our package, so I'm going to ask the council to take a little look at it. If you have any comments or questions, please share that with the business administrator. We can share it with Blue Skies Power. As for the public, if you have any comments on it, we do have a public portion of the meeting. You can then share it at that point in time. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're going to move the agenda. Council's had an opportunity to receive the minutes from our June 16th meeting and a special meeting on June 30th. May I have a motion and second to accept the minutes?
Mr. President, move the minutes be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted as received. Liaison reports. Councilwoman DeCosia.
None at this time, thank you.
Councilman Edwards.
Not at the moment.
Councilwoman King.
No, I did get a report from the Housing Authority, but I'll update in the next meeting.
Do have a report from Councilman Gonzalez. 1 second, I'm gonna read it. He is out of town, so he'll give his report at the next council meeting. All I have is on the school district, I do have a meeting scheduled with the superintendent to talk about her One Bridgeton plan. Once we have that meeting, I'll certainly share that with the council, and I know I think she's scheduled to be here during our August meeting to share that with council and the public. So we look forward to hearing about that. Mayor, do you have anything?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Bail?
Nothing at this time, Council.
Madam Solicitor?
Nothing at this time, sir.
Thank you. We have no other business. We're going to go right to ordinances. I ask the clerk if she'd read ordinance J1.
J1, ordinance establishing block-off street application procedures.
Council's heard the ordinance. What's your pleasure?
Mr. President, I move that the proposed ordinance be passed on first reading and that the date of August 18, 2026 be designated as the date for the second reading, public hearing, final consideration thereof.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get the roll call vote?
Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Council President Bethea.
Yes, and I declare this ordinance adopted in the first reading. I ask the clerk if she'd read J2.
J2, ordinance amending section 110-9A of the city code pertaining to hours of operations for retail cannabis entities.
Council's heard the ordinance. What's your pleasure?
Mr. President, I move that the proposed ordinance be passed on the first reading and that the date of August 18, 2026 be designated as the date for the second reading, public hearing, and final consideration thereof.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Council President Bethea.
Yes. And I declare this ordinance adopted in the first reading. We have 5 ordinances for second reading. And ask the clerk if she would read K1.
K1, ordinance requesting that the Cumberland County Clerk print upon official ballots used at the next general election a binding referendum question pertaining to the dissolution of the Bridgeton Free Public Library.
Council's heard the ordinance. What's your pleasure?
Mr. President, I move that this reading of the proposed ordinance be considered the second reading and that this meeting be open to the public for a hearing on the matter.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is now open to the public for discussion on this proposed ordinance. If anyone desires to be heard, please rise, come forward, state your name and address, and limit your remarks to this ordinance only.
Good evening, Elizabeth Trinidad, resident and citizen of Bridgeton 237 Atlantic Street. I know I'm not alone here today. There is no civilization without the library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darlene Gates. I live on Atlantic Street. 26-year teacher over at Cumberland Regional High School. 20 years ago, I played a librarian on stage. It was The Music Man, a story of a con man and the local librarian. In fact, the show turns on the fact that the librarian could do a little research. Even in a town in a musical, they had their own library, the Madison Public Library. What could be more American on this 250th anniversary of our nation than preserving our own 124-year legacy? Be an American. Save the library. In all seriousness, a library is the heart and soul of a town, particularly a small, poor town. You want to save money on energy? Put it into a library. Keep it open.
Here we go. Hello, my name is Justin Roy. I'm a resident of your sister city, Vineland. I'll keep my comments brief. Regarding the library, I am a product of all the libraries in this county, including Bridgeton, Vineland, Millville, the county library. I became a journalist after leaving college. I've interviewed some of you. Typically, journalists do not put themselves in the position of being the one testifying, but this is a issue that is near and dear to my heart. You guys turned down building data centers in your city. Very good move. So support the original data centers. Support the library. In a working-class community of color, we need to make sure our youth are aware of their histories. They are trying to destroy the histories of people like you, and I say to all of you on this council, in this country right now, there is a war against libraries, there is a war against education, there is a war against our history. We need to make sure that kids in Bridgeton have a place that they can learn that history, that that library is well staffed, that those people are well paid, and that the community has access to that. As someone who uses public transportation in this county, I'll tell you this much, we live in a transit desert. Expecting residents to go to the county library and take 553 down there to go access it is not something, then that's an added charge. Trust me, I've been broken up when even 190, which is what the current New Jersey transit fare, was too much for me. So please, support the library, keep it open. We do not exist in a vacuum. There is war against libraries right now. We need to think very carefully about how we're going about this. I know that all the municipalities in Cumberland County are going through financial woes right now. That's nothing new. We've been in financial woes since before I was born. We can figure out a way. Do it.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I can barely reach. Hi, my name is Myra. I'm actually a resident of Millville, but I work with students that are explicitly in Bridgeton from grades 7 through 12. Our goal is to help the number of students that are graduating high school and entering college and universities to get higher so that this community can get better. And subsequently, they can live better lives. One of the things that I have learned working with children, particularly the children of Bridgeton, is that a lot of times places like the library, places like the summer camp that I'm currently working at right now, are the only safe havens that these kids have. These programs have overnight programs. The library has overnight programs. They have a whole bunch of different access things like taking kids to parks and stuff like that, free passes, a whole bunch of resources that the general public is usually not aware of, and they don't get used not because they're not useful and needed, but because there's not enough resources to go around so that people are informed of what their resources are. I just want to say that taking away a library, taking away a place of knowledge, a place of education, a safe haven, a place of accessibility from the public is a great mistake, and it's a great disservice to the kids of this community, the men and women, everyone, just like my colleague here just said. You are taking more than a building from them. You are taking education. You would be taking a place of safety, a place of learning from these kids. Please don't take that from them. I think that they, with the current world that we are in right now, there is enough to be scared about. They don't need to lose the library too.
My name's Brittany Ingersoll. I'm a resident of Greenwich, 16 Pier Road, Greenwich, New Jersey, 08323. I'm sorry, I'm very upset. As I said, I am the chief librarian of the Bridgeton Free Public Library. Once I heard about this meeting, I knew I wanted to speak. I was shocked when I first learned of the ballot question and how it was unanimously voted in. I think back to 2024 when I was interviewed alongside our current library director, Michelle Aspiri, to be on the board by Councilwoman Rosemary DeKinzo and Mayor Albert Kelly, and all our enthusiasms to help build a brighter future for the library. I'm surprised at how quickly things change. Only 2 years later, and Councilwoman Rosemary DeKinzo and the library's liaison voted for the potential closure of the library without any kinds of heads up to the board. Over the last several weeks, the online discourse by council members, family members has been eye-opening and jarring. The push and rooting to close a 123-year-old institution, a resource center, a heating and cooling space is incredibly disappointing and sad. This is a space where people can come and just be. It's a space in which they have access to an array of different resources to help them with life. And honestly, the argument that people get their books virtually is a weak argument. As someone who handles the sharing of books, this argument is incorrect. As an avid reader myself, I get both physical and virtual books from both the Bridgeton Free Public Library and the Cumberland County Library. I hear that closing the library down will help with the city budget. How? How will it, when the library is funded from its own tax, that the city would no longer be able to use for anything else, let alone collect? I want you to see my face, because the closing the library means I would lose my job. I am a lifelong resident of Cumberland County. My background is in history and library science. Job opportunities for me in this area are few and far between. I rely on the work at the library to survive, as do all of the staff. We, all the people that rely on the library, the public and the workers, we are real people trying to survive. I'm angry and disgusted that this is where we are at, having to fight for the continuation of a 123-year-old library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Penelope Watson. I'm from Greenwich. I grew up in Bridgeton. I've used the Bridgeton Library all my life. Tonight I'm here to represent the Seabrook Educational and Community Center. I'm on the Board of Trustees there. The Seabrook Educational and Cultural Center strongly opposes the recent proposed actions that may close the Bridgeton Public Library. We are shocked that such a step is even being considered by the city of Bridgeton. Libraries are traditionally centers of information and knowledge. They also serve as places to nurture imagination and to facilitate learning skills. The Bridgeton Public Library follows that tradition. It has also been a venue for public presentations and community service. Such places should not be lost to the broader community. SECC was established 32 years ago to promote knowledge and understanding of Seabrook, New Jersey, a unique community shaped by Japanese Americans who had been incarcerated in American concentration camps, refugees from the Baltic states leaving war-torn Europe, and African Americans seeking refuge from the Jim Crow South. In its role as a public history center, SECC is one part of the social and public interest infrastructure of South Jersey, along with the Bridgeton Public Library, underscoring our strong feelings about the continuation of the library. At its July 16th meeting, the SECC Board of Trustees and staff wholeheartedly expressed support for the continuing existence of the Bridgeton Public Library and for the steps that would also ensure it. Sincerely, Masuo Nakawadasi, President of the Board of Directors. Personally, I have been working with Save the Library for something like 15 years now. We saved it once. Please, don't make us do it again. Enough already.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Santiago Lopez. I live on 123 Lake Street in Bridgeton. I'm born and raised here. I'm 17 years old. I go to Cumberland County Tech, and I just want to give thanks to everyone here because we see how passionate we are about this issue, especially about the library. So, I grew up in the Bridgeton Youth to Youth program. And
Excuse me.
Can you speak into the mic? We record it.
Yeah, so I grew up in the Bridgeton Youth to Youth program, and that program is for the youth of our city. And that program is usually held at the library, and it still is. I came in as a young kid going into that program, and that program has developed me into the person I am today. And if we were to go against the library, we're taking away opportunities for youth. Youth like me, youth like my buddy Charles over there. And that program, that library stands for the city. And ultimately, if we want to talk about how this affects our budget, it doesn't really. It takes $350,000, and our city budget's $35 million, which is about 1% of our budget. So please take this into consideration. I want to thank you guys, and hopefully you listen to the people.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Member. I have a letter that I prepared that I would like to read to you. I believe you're getting a copy as well. Dear City Council, I have with great concern read of your intent to make the dissolution of the Bridgeton Free Public Library a ballot question in November. I do not currently live within the city of Bridgeton. I was, however, born in Bridgeton and have lived my entire life either in or just outside of the city. My parents and grandparents lived most of their lives either in or just outside of the city, and my mother was a teacher in the Bridgeton school system for 15 years. I therefore have roots in the community and an interest in the well-being of the city of Bridgeton. As a child, my mother regularly took me to the Bridgeton Free Public Library, where I learned to borrow books to read. As I grew up and became a genealogist, I rediscovered the library. I have spent many, many happy hours on the microphone reader printer looking through old Bridgeton newspapers. Now that I am older and closer to retirement, I have more time to indulge my lifelong love of reading, likely cultivated in part by my many childhood visits to the library. Because I want to support a city institution which has been an important part of my life, I regularly bring in bags of books to donate to the library. I always enjoy seeing my donations on the new arrivals shelf. To answer the question of whether the Bridgeton Free Public Library remains relevant, education always has been and continues to be the great equalizer. Children born into communities with limited economic resources and raised in families where English may not be spoken at home have always had education as a path toward a brighter future. Neighborhood libraries within walking distance where a world of resources and knowledge can be opened up to every child are a significant part of an education. Depriving Bridgeton residents of the opportunities offered by their neighborhood library would be a huge disservice. Also, to address the decision to make the future of the Bridgeton Free Public Library a ballot issue, I would remind the City Council that only adults 18 years of older and United States citizens can vote. Therefore, this decision deprives a number of users of the library of the opportunity to have a voice in the
That is such a good point. Hello.
I respectfully urge the City Council to reconsider their decision and make the preservation of the Bridgeton Free Public Library a priority. Thank you for your attention.
Hello everyone, I am Michelle Asteri, Director of the Library, also a resident and homeowner within the city of Bridgeton. When I first came to Bridgeton in December 2023, my neighbor welcomed me to the neighborhood, asked me to join her board shortly after, and another member of that board is the one who brought me to the library board. When I became a board member of the library in July 2024, and later on voted in as vice president, I realized the need of the library. And I spent 40 plus hours a week for over a year volunteering my time to improve the library until I was hired in September 2025. I love the library and how we service the community. I've worked with so many patrons and know that we make a difference in their lives. We get compliments and words of appreciation continuously. I have tried to lift the burden from the city and always take into consideration their fiscal struggle with the budget. I have obtained donations for other library needs and operating expenses. I even took away the granite bill. For those who don't know, that's the fax machine cost. And at the end of 2025, once I realized that that was an extra bill that we were reimbursing the city for. It's a good thing that I did because that bill was costing us $26.40 a year. For many of years, we were paying for 2 lines, of which one was the 1 line too many. I canceled that service and now we spend only $420 a year for that same type of service, but improved. I even handled the landscaping this month since Public Works couldn't do it. There isn't anything I wouldn't do or get done for the library. Lastly, on behalf of the library board, the friends of the library, and the staff and the community, I would respectfully request if the city council would consider removing the library referendum from the ballot and work with the library and board and myself, the director, for the sake of the community to find a constructive solution. Thank you.
That's right.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor Kelly, my former employer. My name is Donnie Reyes born and raised and homeowner Sherman Street in Bridgeton. I stand before you tonight on behalf of myself and PNB and BG Company to urge this council and every voter in this community to vote no on November 2026. The referendum to dissolve the Bridgeton Free Public Library. The library is not an abstraction to me. It is where my story was shaped. As a middle schooler, I walked through those doors to study, to prepare myself academically and chase a future that many of my circumstances were told was out of reach. That investment paid off. I was part of an inaugural cohort of the early college high school, a program that allowed me to earn my associate's degree before I even received my high school diploma. The Bridgeton Free Public Library played a central role in making that possible. I later returned to this city as a Code Blue program assistant and worked for Mayor Kelly's organization, Gateway Community Action Partnership, one of only 2 bilingual Spanish-speaking employees, serving our most vulnerable neighbors during New Jersey's emergency shelter operations. I have seen firsthand in the coldest months and the hardest moments what the library means to real people, what this library represents. This is not a budget line item. This is a 124-year-old institution founded in 1901 that has survived economic depression, world wars, and technological revolutions. It has served multiple generations of the same families, grandparents, parents, and children. The Bridgeton Free Public Library provides free high-speed internet and computer access, job search platforms, resume assistance, and digital literacy programs, youth development and violence prevention programs, family programs and early childhood development services. Senior services is an officially designated warming and cooling center, provides low-cost printing, faxing, and notarization services. The library serves everyone regardless of income, language, age, or background. It is a democratic space that asks nothing before opening its doors. I want to acknowledge Director Michelle Esprisi, whose leadership has elevated this library to new heights. She has secured significant private donations for building renovations and technology upgrades, reducing the public cost burden through fiscal ingenuity that cannot be replaced by line item deletion. The Director Esprisi has personally recognized my grassroots efforts to save this library through a Walmart reference, not because I sought recognition, but because the work speaks for itself. My community involvement from the food distribution program and voter registration as my work as a community liaison at St. John United Methodist Church in Fordville, to emergency shelter operations and service to vulnerable populations across South Jersey, has always been rooted in the same values this library embodies: compassion, equity, and service. Let us be clear, the library represents one of the smaller line items in Bridgeton's tax levy that delivers an exceptional return on investment. Closing it would not eliminate costs, it would redistribute them to other agencies, families, and individuals in a less efficient and less equitable way. On behalf of BG and Company, I urge every resident in this room and every voter in Bridgeton to sign a petition in person or online. Vote no on November 3rd. Spread the word on social media, in your neighborhoods, in your churches, and your dining tables. Support the library's fundraiser. In closing, closing the library, the Richmond Free Public Library is not a budget decision. It is a statement about what kind of community we choose to be. The library belongs to Bridgeton, and Bridgeton belongs to all of its residents. I urge the council to stand on the right side of history, reject this ordinance, protect our library, and to the voters when November comes, vote no. Thank you on behalf of Donnie Reyes and as a photo and journalist for the Rolling Stone magazine.
Hello, my name is Charles Pierce. I live in Fairfield Township. My address is 1157 Buckshot Road, Bridgeton, New Jersey. I am 17 years old. I just turned 17 in May. Most of all my friends live in Bridgeton. Everyone in my family mostly lives in Bridgeton. And I believe that earlier it was said that I love saving money. I heard one of you say that earlier. However, I think it really is depriving us, because if one of my friends who can walk to the Bridgeton Library would have to walk to the Cumberland Library, I believe that it would be a disaster. The other day I was at the Cumberland Library, and leaving Route 49 I almost got in an accident from a driver driving way over the speed limit. When I heard that one of my friends was walking to the Cumberland Library, me after May said, I'm going to drive you because I do not want you to lose your life. So for any of you who did vote on this ordinance, do you believe, or are you going to be held responsible when a child who walks, instead of going to the Bridgeton Library, walks to the Cumberland Library, gets hit by a car, and the mother finds out it was because that the city of Bridgeton decided that it was a great idea to remove the 1% funding for the library that their child got hit? Who's going to be responsible for that? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you. I believe that I'm 17. I can't vote. Many of my friends are under that age. We have no representation when it comes to this. Our voices are not really heard because we can't vote on it.
Let me stop you right here. So, we normally don't curtail any free speech. This is open for you to comment. So I'm gonna ask you, if you're gonna just say the same thing, we can show hands that agree, and we'll hear you. If you're gonna say something different, then by all means, feel free.
Does the story count?
Let's hear your story.
All right, so
Hold on for a second, just so we're clear, this is our meeting, all right? So we want to make sure that we understand what the ground rules are. I need everybody to be respectful, because we are listening, okay? So the cat calls and all that, keep them to yourself. We want to make sure we understand what's going on. But if you're saying the same thing, right, we heard you already, all right? So.
I didn't hear him.
All right, so my name is Gabriel Garcia, and true to my namesake, here's a little story. More than 30 years ago, my parents, new to this country, dreamt of a better life. Once my brothers and I were born, that dream evolved into giving a better life to their children. To give this, my parents understood that knowledge and education together beget prosperity. That both should be embraced, be nurtured, and be readily available and accessible. And so the weekends of my childhood began with a 20-minute walk to the Bridgeton Public Library. My brothers and I spent hours exploring familiar shelves in search of new books or reacquainting ourselves with old hardcover friends. I remember being 7 and spending the entire summer reading all of R.L. Stein's Goosebumps books. I remember being 10, excited to read every Harry Potter book because the first movie just came out. And I remember being 13, gathering the courage to journey from the juvenile section and returning with as many Michael Crichton novels as I could. Today, my brothers and I are all college graduates. In fact, I have plans to earn my doctorate degree within 3 years. In hearing the news of the potential closure of my library, I found myself acknowledging a hidden full circle moment of my academic and professional career. My work with students, from middle schoolers to high schoolers to college students, have operated under the same principles that guided my parents. That education and knowledge should be embraced, be nurtured, and be readily accessible.
The Bridgeton Public Library needs to remain because it will secure the future prosperity of the generations of today and tomorrow. I am where I am because of this resource, a blessing that turned my parents' dream into an absolute. Thank you.
My name is Diane Garrity. I live in Vineland. I am here because my understanding as a paraprofessional is that your school district is almost all substitutes. These children need your library more than Vineland needs theirs. If there are not significant certified teachers in your school district, they're not learning the same way everybody else is. The kids whose mothers do not drive, the children who are with a babysitter, who need somewhere to go to have assistance with homework and other things like that. I'm sorry if I'm boring you because I know everybody's saying the same thing. But seriously, I was that kid. I grew up in Southwest Philly. My mother didn't drive till she was 39. I couldn't go to the public library. We had to wait till my father was off. A significant number of people that live here have one car, work multiple jobs. They can't necessarily get their kids to the library if it's the county library. You do need to take into consideration how your school district is right now, because it is not in the best shape. And the fact that your children do not have appropriate teachers. You need certified teachers in your schools. And you most definitely need this library for those children.
Hello everyone. My name is Maria Perez. I'm a Bridgeton resident. I'm here just as everyone else to advocate and support the library. Small background about me. I grew up in a very, very low income family. The library was everything I had. I was able to use a computer, print, go to trips, go to events, and I still use it right now because I'm currently working on my master's. Also, going back to what Gabriel said, I actually went to high school with him. I am who I am because of the library. And I'm very emotional because the library has a special spot in my heart. And because of that, I became a well-rounded person. My sister became a social worker. My brother became a great teacher. And I want to point out my little brother, Uriel, because of the library, he graduated #1 in his class. Emotional and shaky is because this matters to me and everyone in my community. And I hope you guys do the right thing. We all voted for you guys. Just support it. I know it's hard with budget, but you know, make something work, make it happen. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Austin Carr. I'm an Upper Deerfield resident. Upper Deerfield resident. I am a Bridgeton Middle School teacher. I've been working for 14 years, first at BHS, now at Excel Middle School. And I don't know what, I had a whole letter prepared, all my background history, but I'll just kind of ad-lib. The library for the past 8 years has been a fundamental part of my program with my kids. First at the high school when Daria Armstrong, the youth director at the library, approached us with the poetry contest and my kids got involved. Then later on with my Asian Culture Club at the high school where she promoted volunteering and trips and community service activities. And for the past 2 years at Excel, I've been able to borrow books from the library to bring to my students. I don't know if you know Excel, it's a small school, old building. We don't have a dedicated library of our own. We have classroom libraries. So with the help of Daria and Andrea and Brittany, I've been able to go and borrow books for the last 2 years, over 1,000 books for over 100 students. And that's no small feat. I can give all of my history with the library, but that is something that you need to consider.
Hi, my name is Rhiannon Clark. I'm a Millville resident and I'm a card holder at multiple libraries across South Jersey. I can still remember the first time I entered a library. It was 2 floors, but through my child eyes, the ceiling stretched to the heavens. It was a magical thought that I could walk through a set of double doors and unlock the secrets of the big wide world. When I was in elementary school, we experienced a summer of homelessness. We lived in a car, my parents, myself, and my 3 brothers. The library was an opportunity to cool off, to stretch our legs, to take a break from the grueling reality of life on the road. My adolescent and teen years were marred by the addiction and domestic violence of my family system. I look forward to the start of the school year every year simply for library access. We lived in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't walk to the library. So in the summer, I'd take a book and I'd walk out into the cornfields until I couldn't see the road. I'd disappear into another world to escape my own. As an adult, I take my children to the library. We borrow books, we attend educational events, we've even utilized the meal programs in hard times. To me, the library is a place of safety and shelter. My heart breaks for the Bridgeton child of immigrants who lives in a world where their parents could leave for work and not come home, where every officer looks like an ICE agent, and every morning goodbye feels like it may be the last. I know from personal experience that children who are afraid seek solace in the library. As the world around them begins to feel more and more frightening to the children of Bridgeton, they may also face losing their place to seek safety, shelter, books, and perhaps even their meals. How could you possibly consider taking more from these children?
So I'm a resident of Fairfield and will not be able to vote if this ends up on the ballot in November. But I am a teacher at Cumberland Regional, and I was, oh, I'm sorry, hi, my name's Cassie. Cassie. So like Mr. Carr, I have also come to utilize the Bridgeton Library because of my students. We have students who live in Bridgeton and go to Cumberland Regional. And I don't know about some of the other schools in the area, but for the first time since the 2018-2019 school year, Cumberland Regional is going to have a school librarian, a certified school librarian, every day. It's me. And that excites me because I'm looking forward to making connections with our folks at the Bridgeton Library and our folks at the Cumberland County Library. But for me, it's so much more about what the library does for our communities. Mr. Carr mentioned Daria Armstrong, and she's the one who reached out to me as a language arts teacher about their poetry contest for teens, and she said, I'm going to include Cumberland Regional, which was great. And when I attended a celebration of the winners, because I had students submit some writing, I learned that Adaria is my neighbor. Like literally diagonally across the street from me. And so I think I really just wanted to say that libraries, not only are they the cornerstone of democracy, because with free speech comes the freedom to read and to explore information, but they create community as much as they provide a space for it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ramon Mora Jr. I'm a resident in Violin. I just want to clear up one thing first before we start. There was a comment about this is your meeting. You guys serve the public. We are the public. This is our meeting. This is a public meeting.
That's right.
That's
Give you the opportunity, please don't scold us. Here's your opportunity to speak to us, so.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing.
Relax, everyone.
That's what I'm doing. Now, I have been a county resident my entire life. When I was a child, Violin Public Library got me through school when I had difficulties in class. Okay? When I was in high school, I ended up homeless, at which point Bridgeton, Violin, and Summers Point Library were a beacon of hope, a safety, and a way that I could finish high school and get started on college. When I was in college, it was libraries who helped me graduate one of the hardest programs in ACCC, which was the nursing program. That was because of libraries. When I was homeless, libraries helped me find a job, helped me find food, helped me get shelter materials that I needed to survive, to be able to finish those schools. These are more than just places where people go to read books. I've seen comments online by some of your members in which the belief is that these places are not used, they're not important, or that they need to become something else. That doesn't happen when you defund them or when you get rid of them. If you want to improve them, invest in them. I've been to public libraries where they rent out tools for people to use who want to get into carpentry, get into mechanic work, get into field work, where they have 3D printing lab services, where they have other types of services that are non-traditional to just reading an old book. Okay? Not to mention, there's another group and another faction of people who love to ban books and get rid of books and access to literature. They're fascists. I implore you guys to not be those people. I'm not saying you are, but this is something that very much echoes the things that fascists do. So I leave you with this. You do not need a ballot. You do not need to put Bridgeton's library at jeopardy in any means. Because like it was mentioned before, there are people who use that services that they cannot vote on it. So I hope that you guys do better. I hope you guys strike this off of the ballot and do right by your community. Thank you.
Thank everyone.
Do I get to see?
The last one, yes.
Okay. I was like, wait.
The last one.
Okay. So, hi, my name is Larry Gary Jr. I'm from Vineland. I'm just going to experience I had. Like, I grew up in College Lake, New Jersey. The closest library was 30 to 20 minutes away. And given my mom was working 2 jobs and my dad was stable, I had no access to a library. So what that looked like was I couldn't get books because we didn't have the money for books. I couldn't get. We had 1 computer in the house for 3 kids that were in school all the time. I didn't have access to a computer. I didn't have access to a community center because the closest community center was in Newtonville and you had to walk across 54. Driving across 54, you had to hope and a prayer to get through and survive. I want to also point out, this is like, your voter turnout rate is extremely low. It's below 50%. And the people not voting are the ones that need the library the most. The poor reasoning, I've gone back and forth with a couple people on social media that are related to this issue, and I haven't heard a good reason for doing this. And I want to be very clear on something, a library is not an expense, it's an investment.
Yes.
The county library is not walkable. You got lucky. Bridgeton's library 100 years ago was perfectly placed, where you can walk to it from about anywhere in the city and be okay, because Bridgeton's a walkable city. I also want to point out, like, a lot of people are saying it's just about reading books. A library is so much more than that. Like, I went to your library when they had the meeting with Slow Going Down. They do food drives. They have a youth librarian who just focuses on youth programs. They have watering and cooling centers. They provide access to the technology I didn't have when I was a kid. So they also provide extra, the books, because people need to read. I went to your school board meeting a year ago, and I remember 2 teachers retiring, and they were like, all our teachers are substitutes. Those kids are this is an impoverished area. Those kids are underprivileged. They deserve so much more, and you want to take more away from them. I just don't get it. Russians need things that keep youth off the streets. As somebody who's studying law and justice right now, the number one thing to tell you is you need community centers and libraries to keep the youth off the streets. Yes. Don't further harm this disenfranchised, impoverished community. Continue investing in it. Add more money to the library. It needs more money anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I move the public hearing be closed.
So move, second, all in favor? Any opposed? I need a motion and second to adopt the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that the second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for final adoption or rejection upon a roll call vote.
Second.
So move the second, roll call vote, please.
Councilman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Council President Bethea?
Yes, and I declare this ordinance adopted. Madam Clerk, can you read K2?
Ordinance amending Chapter 40, Article 4 of the Code of the City of Richmond.
Council, sir, the ordinance with your pleasure.
Mr. President, I move that this reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for the second reading, that this meeting be open to the public for a hearing on the matter.
Second.
There's been a motion second, all in favor? Any opposed? This meeting is now open to the public for discussion on the proposed ordinance. Anyone desiring to be heard, please rise, come forward, state your name and address, and limit your remarks to this ordinance only. So anyone come forward, we have a motion second to close public hearing.
Mr. President, move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
We move second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Both portions of this ordinance is now closed. We have a motion and a second to adopt or reject this ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for final adoption or rejection upon a roll call vote. Second.
It's been moved second, any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio?
No.
Councilman Edwards?
No.
Councilwoman King?
No.
Council President Bethea?
No. I declare this ordinance not adopted. Madam Clerk, can you read K3?
Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Richmond releasing, vacating, and extinguishing the rights of the public in a .35 acre portion of Stevenson Avenue and a .15 portion of Johnson Street, existing public rights of way.
Council, sir, the ordinance is pleasure.
Mr. President, I move this reading of the proposed ordinance be considered the second reading, and this meeting be open to the public for a hearing on the proposal.
We move the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is now open to the public for discussion on the proposed ordinance. Anyone desiring to be heard, please rise, come forward, state your name and address, and limit your remarks to this ordinance only.
Sergeant Marcy, 440 Atlantic Street. I just had a quick question. This is the second reading?
Yes.
Okay. Do they notify you of the first one? If it pertains to you and your property?
We publish, at the beginning of the meeting, we clerk read the statement. All our meetings are public, and they are published in the newspaper and on our website.
So they don't notify you? We got a notification for this meeting. We didn't get a notification for June 16th.
There is only publication for this particular ordinance prior to the second reading, like for
Prior to
statute.
the second meeting?
Well, yes, the second reading.
So for this particular meeting.
And there's no representatives here referencing the development, are there?
I don't believe so.
All I need to know.
Thank you. So no one else come forward, we have a motion second to close public hearing.
Mr. President, I move the public hearing be closed. Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public portion of this meeting is now closed. May I have a motion and second to adopt or reject this ordinance?
Mr. President, I move that the second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for final adoption or rejection upon a roll call vote.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio?
Yes.
Councilman Edwards?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Council President Bethea?
Abstain. I declare this ordinance adopted. Clerk, please read K4.
Ordinance amending ordinance number 22-27, approving the application and financial agreement for a long-term tax exemption with Eastern Pacific Development LLC or its permitted assignees in respect to phase 1 of the redevelopment project to be constructed on block 182, lots 8 through 19, and block 183, lots 44 through 48, and 51 through 53 on the City of Richmond's official tax map.
Council, sir, the ordinance is your pleasure.
Mr. President, I move this reading of the proposed ordinance be considered the second reading of this meeting be open to the public for a hearing on the matter.
Second.
This motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is now open to the public for discussion on proposed ordinance. Anyone desiring to be heard, please rise, come forward, state your name and address, and limit your remarks to this ordinance only.
Hi, my name is Ramon Mora, Jr. from Violin. Let me just get this right. This ordinance gives a tax break to a business, but we can't afford to keep the library open. That's all.
Seeing no one else come forward, have a motion second close public hearing.
Mr. President, I move the public hearing be closed.
We move in second, all in favor? Any opposed? Public portion of this meeting, public portion of this ordinance is now closed. We have a motion second to adopt or reject this ordinance.
Mr. President, I move the second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for final adoption or rejection on a roll call vote.
So we move in second, any discussion? There being none, will clerk please call the roll.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio?
Yes.
Councilman Edwards?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Council President Thea?
Abstain. I declare this ordinance adopted. Clerk, please read K5.
Ordinance amending the scattered sites redevelopment plan for Census Tract 205 to include Block 155, Lot 25, and 280 South Pine Street.
Council, sir, the ordinance is your pleasure.
Mr. President, I move this reading of the proposed ordinance be considered the second reading, that this meeting be open to the public for a hearing on the matter.
It's been moved in second, all in favor? Any opposed? This meeting now open to the public for discussion of proposed ordinance. Anyone desiring to be heard, please rise, come forward. State your name and address, limit your remarks to this ordinance only. So we want to come forward, we have a motion second to close public hearing.
Mr. President, the second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered.
We move in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public portion of this ordinance is now closed. We have a motion and a second to adopt or reject this ordinance.
Mr. President, the second reading of the proposed ordinance be considered for final adoption or rejection upon roll call vote.
Second.
We move in second, any discussion? There being none, clerk please call the roll.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio?
Yes.
Councilman Edwards?
Yes.
Councilwoman King?
Yes.
Council President Thea?
Yes, and I declare this ordinance adopted. So this is the time and place set forth for public to address council on their comments on considering other items or any other matter. I have a motion and second on the meeting to the public.
Mr. President, I make a motion to open it to the public.
It's been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is now open to the public. If you wish to speak, please rise, come forward, state your name and address, and limit your remarks and comments. We do have a list. Because we have a list, and some of you maybe have already spoken, we're going to limit the time on this to 2 minutes. Pretty much. So I'm going to call the names on the list. Michelle?
I am done.
Thank you. Brittany?
I am done.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Yep, I'm done.
Thank you. Maria?
Done.
Thank you. Charles? Thank you. I think this is Santi. I can't really read his handwriting. Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Austin?
I'm done.
Erica? Marisol?
Good evening, City Council and everyone here. Thank you for coming out and showing your support for everything. I think you said 2 minutes in a row. Try to read as quickly as possible. My name is Marcia Shano Cruz. I was born and raised here in the community in Bridgeton. Old Dogs Forever. This community helped raise me. People like Ms. Yolanda Malloy took me to church every Sunday and treated me like family. Ms. Lamboy, who started as my guidance counselor and continued to guide me throughout my life. Mr. Masucci, may he rest in peace. He was also a guidance counselor here in Bridgeton Public Schools. Ms. Mary, who sits on the Board of Education, was my neighbor for many years. She took me to school if I ever missed a bus, as my dad worked a lot and my mom didn't have transportation. She didn't know how to drive. These are people who make Bridgeton special. They are the reasons I have always been proud to call the city my home. That is why I'm speaking today with a heavy heart.
Many families in our community are living with fear, uncertainty. Parents are worried about being separated from their children. Children are worried about whether their loved ones will come home regardless of where someone was born. They are members of our community. They work here, worship here, raise families here, and contribute to the city we all love. Last week, there was federal agents out on Green Acres that they were doing a staging. A staging is something that federal agents do to, when they finish rounding up community members after they're done kidnapping them, is where they go and distribute them to take them back wherever they are. What I've seen and what I know is not all the people that are being kidnapped, this isn't justified either, have any type of, sorry, I'm shaking and I'm a little nervous. I don't like speaking. I'm asking for the city to do what other cities have done and to please do an ordinance where federal officials cannot do staging here in our community of Bridgeton. Please continue to keep Bridgeton as safe as possible. I grew up here. A lot of people from here have seen me grow up, and I love Bridgeton. I will continue to love Bridgeton. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that it's being overtaken by Hispanics. I'm sorry, we're not going anywhere. We're staying here. This is our home. I have a lot of love for everyone. Trust me, when I was brought here at a young age, Ms. Yolanda Malloy, she was the only person on my street to ever welcome me. She's a black lady, but that lady, she loved me like her own. She fed me when my parents had to work late. She put me on that bus every single day when my mom had to go to work and my dad had to go to the fields. It wasn't easy growing up in a place where you didn't have a lot of family here. I know it's 2 minutes, but please do the ordinance. I beg of you, as someone that was born and raised here for 31 years, I have my kids here, my dad's a homeowner. We contribute to the city as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this, I believe this says either Maria or Gloria. The feminine she is.
What's the last name?
There's no last name.
Dang, that's not me.
Not yet.
Okay.
That's not you. Okay.
I think you're gonna.
This is Jenny. Is there Jenny?
She had to step out.
Victor. Justin. So you spoke earlier.
Can I speak now?
You spoke earlier, right?
It's a different matter, though, so I can speak now.
It's different. It's not different. I'm gonna cut you off.
I am a journalist, I know my rights. Anyway, so I'm here to also speak on what Marisol spoke of. Again, journalists typically don't take this position, but I've also been a community organizer, first in Cumberland County, then in Philadelphia for my 4 years of college. Now I'm back here. So I come from that perspective as well. But also, covering Cinco de Mayo, which was a great event here in Bridgeton. I actually got to interview Rosemary, and you expressed great solidarity with the immigrant community of Bridgeton, which I appreciate. There's a lot of fear and terror, particularly amongst the youth. And there's a gloom over the city right now. And I work here a lot. I have seen so many children terrified, so many children have had friends, family members, friends and family taken. There's already a lot of trauma faced by people in this community. I understand a lot of you are already sympathetic to the plight of the immigrant community here in Bridgeton. So again, I'm just here on the record that we will back you in trying to keep ICE off of public property. And I'll say this much, the second protest I ever went to was here in the city of Bridgeton in 2020, and after the assassination and murder of George Floyd. And I saw people from the black community, from the Mexican community, from the Puerto Rican community, white folk, people who were descended from the internees at Seabrook, all came out in solidarity. The fight against police brutality, the fight against ICE, and the fight against all race and class oppression is intertwined. If you look at history, the Klan used to terrorize white Catholic immigrants and black folks as well in Bridgeton. This was a stronghold for them. Luckily, that is not the case now. ICE is the modern equivalent of that. We do not need to be repeating history. So I urge on you, please adopt and support a resolution to expand protections for our neighbors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruth Barrero. I live in Vineland. Before we get started, I believe that name that you read was Marla, so I want to make sure that she does get her time. So just do you want to let her go first?
Yes, speak.
Okay. So this has been a really tough week for our community. It's been a tough week after many tough weeks. I, on last Saturday, happened to be at the city zoo and I saw 6 ICE vehicles staging outside of that space. On Wednesday, I happened upon ICE agents getting out of their car, and within 23 seconds, they had 2 men in handcuffs, 2 men who had done nothing, they didn't question them, they had no warrants. And I appreciate that I spoke with at least 2 of you outside, that you all understand and are sympathetic and want to do more to protect this community. So I can give them a round of applause. So thank you for that. And I would like to challenge you all to, by your next meeting on August 18th, we would like to see an ordinance to follow the protocol that's been, or not the law that has been set by the state, where ICE agents, federal agents cannot stage on state property. We ask that you extend that to city property. And I'd like to challenge everybody here. It's a beautiful group. Thank you so much for showing up for either this or the library. Please come back next week. We need to hold you all accountable, because I believe you have a good heart and I believe you want to do it. We're going to be here to make sure that you do. So come out with yourself and a friend. Let's double the amount of people here next week. And if any of you want to know how you can get involved in keeping our community safe, please see one of us after the meeting. We'd be happy to talk with you. Thank you.
Christine?
I think that was my name that was on that list.
Go on the other list. If that was you, I called you earlier, you said that wasn't you. So 1 second. I need you to.
Yeah, it's not Maria, it's Marla.
Show you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sherry Hill, Bridgeton Avenue, Bristol, New Jersey. I have been here more than once, and I do have some members that are here from St. Philip's Church. Oh, no, they left. This matter I'm bringing before you once again is about the cars on Richardson Avenue. I have a video I took this morning, and even though I know that's city property, I am sick and tired of the obstruction. Once again, this morning I almost had an accident because of people that don't live on Richardson Avenue, people that live in apartments across the street, think it's okay to park on that street where we are residents, and they do their mechanical working on their car. They will not get out of the way. They put up obstruction orange cones to save their parking spaces. So it's like a traffic jam on Sundays after church, because you have to go all the way up into the intersection so you can see what's coming. There is city property there that says no trespassing, no littering. Okay, they did come out one time, you know, when I stated the issue, and cleaned it up. I had been out there myself, cleaned it up. That's not my job. I refuse to continue to do this. But if there needs to be an ordinance or whatever you need to do, the city of Bridgeton, the police or whatever, these are cars with no tags, illegal cars. They sell cars, they work on cars, there's bumpers in the, this can't continue to happen. School is about to start again. when I take my time to get up and go because of my concern in my community for the kids and make sure that because they're small, the working parents, this is what I do. And walk them to that intersection, to get them to that bus stop, to make sure there's no cars coming in to hit one of these kids because they can't walk because their view and their vision is obstructed. What are we gonna do? I have the video, just let me know who I need to present it to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Larry? Hi, my name's Larry Gary, Jr. I'm from Vineland. Can I speak about the ice stuff? I don't know if you've noticed like how terrified your community is. People don't want to go outside. The other conversations you have where it's like a parent where like, I don't want to go outside because I don't want to be able to come home to take care of my kids. I think it's insane. I remember I have to study law and justice studies again. They're not following the law. There is no law that says an ICE agent can pull somebody over, rip them out of the car, and put them in a concentration camp. It's not a law. I want to be very clear, like they are breaking the law. The only difference between a slave catcher, an ICE agent, and a Nazi is what year it is. Thank you.
Ms. Ramon?
Hello, once again, my name is Ramon Mora Jr. I am from Vineland. I urge you as well to do something about ICE. The state has already done something about ICE. You guys can do it on a local level. I just want you guys to know who's operating in your city against your public. There's a reason why we don't see any more reports or a lot of reports about the Proud Boys and the KKK and neo-Nazi groups. They work for ICE now. They're the ones who are terrorizing your streets and your communities. There are hard-working immigrants here who send their kid away to school. And when the kid comes home, they wonder, where's mom? Where's dad? You guys can do more. You guys have the power to do more. I urge you to do something for your community, because after they come for my people and the people who look like me, they're going to be looking for their next targets. And they have a history of who they go after. And we have to do something about it. Thank you.
Anna?
She doesn't speak English, so can I translate for her?
Absolutely.
Buenas tardes. Soy ministro en la Capellana de Miguel.
Good evening, I am a minister. My name is Ana Capellana Miguel.
Vengo a apoyar a mi comunidad.
I'm here to support my community.
Queremos que esto pare.
We want these activities to stop.
Queremos que nos den respeto.
We want respect.
Queremos que respeten que este es un lugar sagrado.
We want them to respect that this is a sacred place.
No queremos más ICE en los parques,
We don't want any more ice in parks
ya que hay jóvenes que van a los parques
because there's a lot of youth that goes to the parks.
y por miedo no están asistiendo a lugares que se supone que son recreativos y para beneficio propio de ellos.
And they are not showing up because of fear. And this is supposed to be a space for recreational activities and for them to be out.
Queremos también que si llegase a llegar, que no queremos ICE en este lugar, que sea con respeto. No queremos golpes.
And if ICE comes, we want them to not be abusive. We want them to at least be respectful.
Al igual que queremos que respeten las iglesias,
As well as respecting the churches,
porque en las iglesias también están entrando.
because they have also been going into churches.
Sabemos que tienen derecho de hacer su trabajo,
We know they have the right to do their work.
Pero eso no les hace hacer que sean más que nosotros.
But that does not make them better than us.
Queremos algo justo para nuestra comunidad, para nuestro pueblo,
We want justice for our people and our community.
porque también ya estamos hartos, desesperados de que esto siga.
Because we are tired that this keeps happening.
No podemos salir a trabajar, no podemos llevar a los hijos a la escuela por miedo.
Many of us don't even go to work, or even we're afraid of taking our kids to school because of the fear that they will be taken.
Ya no queremos que utilicen los lugares que son recreativos y que son necesarios para nuestra gente.
We don't want them to take spaces where it's for recreational purposes and for where our community goes.
Todo eso se está haciendo algo fuerte que a la gente están asustando.
That is becoming stronger and it's only scaring our community even more.
No queremos gente con pánico.
We don't want our people to be scared.
No queremos jóvenes con pánico.
We don't want our youth to be scared.
Ya que desafortunadamente cuando los jóvenes entran en pánico toman una decisión muy desagradable, en la cual es
Unfortunately, sometimes it affects youth to the point where they may hurt themselves.
y queremos que eso pare.
And we want all of that to stop.
Agradecemos por escucharnos
I appreciate that you're listening to us.
y queremos que tomen una decisión justa para nuestro pueblo.
I want you to make a decision fair for our community.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Adele?
Hi, my name is Adele. I'm from Millville. I was late getting here, so for just a quick second, I support the library. The main thing I want to talk about, you've heard about from multiple people already. I'm not the first to say anything. I sincerely hope and I sincerely doubt that I will be the last. And I might not say anything new to you right now, but I'm still going to add my voice. I'm new to Cumberland County. I was born and raised in Cape May. I've only lived up here for about 3.5 years. But in that time, I've been able to form friendships and connections that are so precious to me that I almost don't know what it's like to not have them. And a lot of those connections and relationships are right here in Bridgeton. But Bridgeton is facing a big problem right now, and that problem is that we have rogue federal agents that come into our town on a weekly basis and take our citizens with no warrant, no due process, and no respect for their safety. I can think of at least 2 times this spring when ICE has taken someone from their vehicle and left their car abandoned in the road for Bridgeton PD to deal with. So I need you to understand that this is not just the problem of a few people. It is the problem of everyone in Bridgeton. I'm sure you've heard from several people now that we've seen ICE using city property to stage these illegal detentions. Why would we allow them to use city property while actively damaging our city?
Good question.
Just this year, the state of New Jersey passed a law banning these operations from state property. It's my understanding, I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that Cumberland County also has an ordinance banning them from county property. So we're only asking the city to extend the protections that the state and the county has already deemed necessary and right. This costs you nothing, but it gains you so much, including the trust of your residents. We're facing a moment where the citizens of Bridgeton live in constant fear. We've heard from people who are afraid to go out and get groceries, people who are afraid to go to work, and people who are afraid to sit out on their front porches in the morning for fear that they'll be taken from their home and their families for no reason. ICE's numbers do not lie. They reported in a legal filing to the Township of Roxbury, New Jersey on April 29th of this year that they intend to deport 351,008 people from the state of New Jersey. And only 24,893 of them have any type of criminal record, and more than half of that is still pending charges, which are subject to due process.
Thank you. Thank you.
Other people
Your
have spoken
time-
longer than
your
me.
time is up.
Other people have spoken longer than me.
Your time is up.
What was my time?
I gave you 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Is that what everybody got?
I told everybody it was going to be 2 minutes. So I gave you more time.
Well, I will send this information to you because I have more statistics for you.
Please do.
And I hope you get to everybody on the list because you missed some people and that's a violation of the
Thank
rest
you
of
very
the
much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The last name is Clark.
May I please give my time to Marlo, who is also on the list?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here to request respectfully that the City Council and Mayor Kelly of the City of Bridgeton prioritize the safety and peace of mind of all its residents by enacting an ordinance that prohibits the use of Bridgeton City property for federal immigration enforcement. Other New Jersey municipalities have already taken this initiative as early as February of this year to protect the safety of all of the residents by establishing local policies and ordinances that prohibit ICE from using municipal property for immigration enforcement. Some of those cities include Jersey City, who issued an executive order establishing a categorical ban on using city-owned or controlled property as staging or processing areas for ICE operations. Others are New York, who signed an executive order restricting ICE agents from utilizing city-owned facilities, resources, or property for unconstitutional civil immigration enforcement. North Bergen introduced an ordinance prohibiting federal immigration authorities from using municipal property like parking lots and parks as operational bases. I have more, but because my time is limited, I will cut it here. For background, for a few weeks now, I have heard the experiences firsthand of residents of this city about how gravely their lives have been negatively impacted by ICE's continuous harassment and intimidation while conducting their raids. Raids during which they not only refuse to present valid judicial warrants signed by a court judge, but also continue to wear masks and other items of clothing to conceal their faces and identity, both of which violate the Law Enforcement Officer Protection Act, which has been in effect since March 25, 2026. Bridgeton has been heavily targeted since December of last year. I have heard mothers of disabled children describe how they can no longer take their afternoon walks, the only solo time they had caring for their disabled children, because they're afraid that they may not come back. These things are just few of the stories that I have heard. I've heard sons and daughters recount stories about how they don't go out on family trips anymore, no more Sunday family dinners in public places because they're afraid of being ripped apart from their loved ones by armed, masked, unidentified individuals who often seem to get a special kick out of what they've been doing. The same way that the governor and many municipalities in New Jersey have taken measures to bring back some sense of peace and safety to all of its citizens, Bridgeton needs to follow suit and show its citizens that they are cared for and that their safety and peace of mind matter equally. Thank you.
Diane? No. Once again, thank you all for coming out. We have a motion and second to close public hearing.
Trying to make a motion on public hearing closed.
Move second. All in favor? Meeting closed. Public portion of this meeting is now closed. Council, we have 25 items for the consent agenda. I ask the clerk if she read those items.
And one, resolution approving the tax refund payment for 100 North Burlington Road. And two, resolution authorizing a content change order number 2 to South State Inc. for NJDOT by Way Program Trails in the amount of $19,708.80. And 3, resolution adopting the state New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program enabling resolution. And 4, resolution authorizing submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for Ritchie Case Way, Fern Road, Santa Rosa Road reconstruction, and authorizing grant agreement upon award of funding. And 5, resolution adopting the City of Bridgeton Community Energy Plan. And 6, resolution expressing support for shared services with the County of Cumberland with respect to police dispatch services. And 7, Resolution authorizing the city of Bridgeton to enter into a site access agreement with Bridgeton Public Schools for use of block 171, lot 106, to provide alternate access for the Cherry Street School Expansion Project. M8, resolution of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton authorizing the mayor or business administrator as his designated representative to execute treatment works approval, TWA, consent application forms regarding South Laurel Street, Glass Street, South Pearl Street, and South Avenue. M9, resolution of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton authorizing the mayor or Bridgeton business administrator as his designated representative to execute treatment works approval, TWA, consent application forms regarding Southeast Ave, Fremont Ave, and South Ave. And 10, resolution of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton authorizing the Bridgeton UEZ to submit an application to New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for funding in the amount of $76,600 for the Bridgeton UEZ Events Fund for fiscal year 27. And 11, resolution authorizing submission of a grant application to New Jersey Department of Transportation for funding through the Bikeways Program for Section 2 of Bike Trails within Bridgeton City Park. And 12, resolution authorizing the purchase of body-worn cameras and tasers from New Jersey State Contract 17-Fleet-00738 pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-12 in the amount not to exceed $378,602.30. And 13, resolution authorizing the purchase of vehicle dash cameras from New Jersey State Contract 17-Fleet-00738 pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-12 in an amount not to exceed $153,144. And 14, resolution authorizing the City of Bridgeton to award a contract to George S. Coyne Chemical Company, Inc. for water treatment chemicals for lime and acetab. And 15, resolution authorizing the City of Bridgeton to award a contract to Miracle Chemical Company for water treatment chemicals for chlorine. And 16, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue funded through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the 2026 Clean Communities Program. And 17, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue for the 2026 Municipal Court Alcohol Education Rehabilitation and Enforcement Grant Fund. And 18, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue for the solid waste recycling tonnage grant. And 19, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue funded through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the Stormwater Assistance Grant. And 20, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of special item of revenue funded through the State of New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority in support of the Bridgeton UEZ Downtown Pocket Park Revitalization Project. And 21, resolution requesting approval for insertion of a special item of revenue funded from the State of New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for the Bridgeton UEZ Food Truck Project. And 22, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue funded through the PFAS class action lawsuit for the Public Water System, AFFF, PFAS Tyco Settlement Distribution Installment Payments. And 23, resolution requesting approval for the insertion of special item of revenue funded from the State of New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for the Bridgeton UEZ Revolving Loan Fund. And 14, resolution imposing liens on various properties for remediation of certain code violations impacting public safety, health, or welfare for July 2026. And M25, resolution of the City of Bridgeton, Cumberland County, authorizing the execution of a third amendment to the redevelopment agreement redevelopment agreement between the City of Bridgeton and Eastern Pacific Development, LLC, and the third amendment to the contract of sale of real estate between the City of Bridgeton and Eastern Pacific Development, LLC, and Phoenix Village One Urban Renewal, LLC.
Thank you. All matters listed under M1 through M24. Again, M1 through M24 considered routine and will be acted upon by one motion. If any discussion is desired, then the item can be removed from the consent agenda and acted upon separately. Is there any discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda resolutions M1 through M24.
Mr. President, I move the resolutions under M1 to M24 under the consent agenda be adopted.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Council President Bethia.
Yes, and I declare the resolution is adopted. I have a motion and a second to approve resolution M25.
Mr. President, I move that resolution M25 of the consent agenda be adopted. Second.
It's been moved and second. Can we get a roll call vote, please? Any discussion? I'm sorry. Roll call vote.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Council President Bethia.
Abstain. I declare that resolution M25 approved. Council's received the bills, schedule of bills, July 2021, 2026, July 21, 2026, in the amount of $5,245,115.84. May I have a motion and a second to approve scheduled bills?
Mr. President, I move that the scheduled bills be approved as read, that warrants be drawn for their various amounts, and the same be charged to the respective appropriations.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
Yes.
Councilman Edwards.
Yes.
Councilwoman King.
Yes.
Council President Bethia.
Yes, and I declare the scheduled bills approved. We have 3 applications this evening. We're going to do them separately. One is Block Up Street application, John Medica National Night Out 2026, August 8th, 2026, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. from West Broad Street to Washington Street, East Commerce Street from Pearl Street to Mayor Aiken Drive. I have a motion second to approve this application.
Mr. President, I move application 01 be approved.
Second.
Been moved and second, all in favor? Any opposed? This application is approved. 02 is the Block Up Street application, Fred G. Hooverman, Bridgeton Eagle Club Annual Picnic, September 19, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sharp Street, from Cohansey Street to Cohansey River. I have a motion second to approve.
Mr. President, I move the application be approved. Second.
Been moved and second, all in favor? Any opposed? This application is declared approved. And 03, Block Up Street application, A242, Kingdom Life Center, Apostle Eric Acevedo, thank you. Back to School Block Party Community Celebration, August 29th, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Marion Street, from North Pearl to Bank Street. I have a motion second to approve this application.
Mr. President, I move the application on 3 be approved.
Second.
Move second, all in favor? Any opposed? I declare this application approved. We have 4 reports. We're going to vote on them all together. P1 is the clerk's monthly report, June 2026. P2 is clerk resident ID quarterly report, second quarter 2026. P3 is vital statistics monthly report, June 2026. And P4 is the tax collector's cash receipts report for June 2026. I have a motion second to approve these reports.
Mr. President, I move the reports be received and filed.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I declare these reports received and filed. May I have any additional comments?
Yes, sir. I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. We heard what you're saying. We're not ignoring anything. We do have some challenges in the city, but it's challenges that we can accept and correct. But we thank you for coming out this evening. I've been sitting in this chair for 16 years, and this is the most we've ever had come to council. So keep up the good work. We're listening, we hear you what you're saying, and I thank our councilmen and councilwomen for listening, and you'll see positive results of your being present here today. Thank you.
Council comments, Councilwoman DeQuinzio.
I don't want to belabor this, But I agree with the mayor, this is the most people we have seen at a council meeting in a long time. All your concerns have been heard. I definitely support an ordinance to keep ICE out of our city municipal. Hopefully we can move forward on that. I'm sure we have cooperation with the rest of the city council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
One quick question or comment.
We're not taking questions. We had a public session.
comment.
I need your respect. We listen to you, now it's our time to talk. If you can listen to us, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
She showed a blatant criticism.
Could you not interrupt the meeting, please? I'm asking you. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman King?
Yes, I wanted to speak to both issues, and again, as I said the first time, it was good to see a lot of people even witness some of the presentations and things that come before us. To add the libraries to the ballot is not a we hate libraries situation. This has been, as you said, someone admitted that there has been initiatives before where the library has come up as a duplication of services too. Now, I do understand everyone, I'm a Bridgetonian myself, born and raised, lived on Commerce Street, went to the library, was on the library committee as well. And I see that after listening today, it serves a little different with the Spanish-speaking community, more so than the other communities that I grew up in. And I was an Owens brat, where, I never hurt for nothing. I didn't have to go to the library for refuge or any of that. And I understand more now how you do and how you have and how it's helped you and how like Youth to Youth Excel, all of those programs have helped you, and if there's any way, so this gives a chance for the voters to vote, and as someone else enlightened me, some of the people who most benefit from the library will not be able to vote. I understand, I more understand that as well now as well. I express myself publicly because I don't run from, or I don't hide from how how I feel. I explained on Facebook that I'm an IT person. Cybersecurity, now AI, that's my thing. Like I studied computer science, IT since it was data processing. The world is moving now. Things are changing now. Generally now, then keep it real with yourself. If you want a book, you're going online. You're going to Amazon, and not necessarily everybody, because some people use the library for different things. Can there be more services added to the library? Is that something, library, because I hear cooling, heating, social services, feeding, things that may not be considered library per se, but maybe a little more social service area too. But I'd like to see the library, or whatever the building is, be an innovative tech center. I mean, that's me, you had your chance. I come from where, like I said, for other communities, it may be different. You may need the refuge. You may need a building, but does it have to say library to be a refuge? Could it be a YMCA? Can it be a PAL building? Does it have to say library? So for me, we cannot say we want change and growth and progress, and we keep doing the same thing, because that's a definition of insanity. So please understand that part too. I don't hate libraries. I have an advanced degree. I had to go to libraries to get that, because I didn't go to school yesterday. I'm 63 years old, so I grew up on East Commerce Street. I'm a bulldog to the core. But I understand too that we need to have virtual reality, AI introduction, literacy. We are impoverished. If we do not, as people spoke about education, if we do not get our kids on board to AI, we are always going to be behind. We were behind with the internet because when I was on the school board, when COVID came out and we had to dust off and get out the books, the Chromebooks to the kids because they were not letting them take them home. And the month before, and Ms. Edwards is my witness, I advocated to give every kid a Chromebook. What are they, $99? We bought it for them, give it to them. I'm telling you right now, you're going to need the AI literacy. You're going to need to expand your education. You can go get a book anywhere. Let me tell you something. If you live on the south side, you live over here. If you live on Wall Street, sure, Bristol Public Library is closer. But if you live in Burlington Manor, which library is closer? Okay? If you live on the hill, yes, that library is closer. But if you live on the east side, what library is closer? Like, come on, we gotta keep it 1,000 about what we're saying. I see adults homeless walk to the liquor store, but you can't creep further down you go to Violent for the welfare office. We go to Violent for all the other social services. We need a workforce development. We go to Violent near the college for workforce development. Am I right or wrong? That's where we go. So why not have a building or even addition to the library that offers services, that workforce development? If Raheem need a job or Amir need a job, you go there and say, Papa's hired, I need a resume. You walk in there, they get you an email, spit you out a resume in seconds, uploading, and boom. So we have to look at the way we are serving our community. We have to be good stewards of the finite monies that we have. We don't have no overbook. You see all these houses. Our homeowners, as bad as you think you want a library, our homeowners are bearing the brunt for this. They are paying Christian city tax, and some, as you're saying, oh, it's not a lot of money. That 370-some thousand, you know how many maintenance people, police people, or street that we can buy for that?
More than we need.
I mean, it may seem minuscule to you, but for us to provide services, $300,000 is a lot of money.
Thank you, Councilwoman. That was a really long time.
Excuse me, you can't tie me.
Let me just say this, excuse me, Councilman. Again, I ask for your respect us. We listen
I ask for
to
your
you.
respect as well.
So if you're going to continue to interrupt, I'm going to ask our police officers to escort you out of the room.
I don't think that's asking. But I can leave.
Thank you.
But I would like your respect as you continue. That was very disrespectful to everyone here.
Please, if you can expedite your departure.
Don't worry, I'll be back at the next one. I hope it's better.
Yeah, but I'm not here to...
One second. You gotta continue to talk, you guys can leave as well. We're not gonna have disrespect. We did not disrespect you, even when you was yelling and berating us.
That's part of your job when you're up there. It's fine, but
Thank you, sir.
You signed up for it. When you put your petition in, you got voted in,
Thank
you
you,
signed
sir.
up to be berated, you signed up for free speech.
Thank you.
You don't get to tell people what they can and cannot say. That's
As
your
you
job.
leave-
Your job to listen.
As you leave the room.
And AI sucks, not the future.
As you leave the room.
Well, let me tell you something. You get clapped, you can do cartwheels, but baby, it's here. And it's not going anywhere. Trust and believe me. Those data centers, those people got more money than God that are trying to put those data centers everywhere. Oh, trust and believe, and they're trying to do it on the backs of small and poor communities like ours, who knew we needed that income, but we turned it down because it would be harmful to our residents. We felt that it would be more harmful than good. But if you think it's going away, if you have anything, it is only the beginning, and it's like water in your hand. There's so many different aspects, but I can go on with the artificial intelligence at another time. I'm not going to based up on that. But I did want to say that we did lose Mel Malik Williams, one of our community members that did a lot for the city with games and stuff at the Splash Park. He helped 8x6 Love. He welcomed everybody to whatever he had, and he's going to be missed. And thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Edwards?
I don't know what I'm going after that. Well, definitely thank you everyone for coming out. You know, when we were elected to these seats, like you said, and you know, there's some hard decisions that has to be made, and we don't take none of them lightly. You know, I tell everyone I'm not the feelings police neither, because everyone has feelings too, right? You know, but at the end of the day, we're in these seats for a reason, because we got to make the decision. There was not this many people here when we talked about the budget, right? When we looked at a 36-cent increase. Like, we didn't see nobody here helping us out with ideals, right? So we end up getting it down to 19 cents, which is still too high. But we thank the administration for the great work that they did do to get it down. You know, so I see people smiling and, you know, thinking it's a joke. You know, but we're pro-library too. Like, no one here, the council cannot shut the library down, right? All we're saying is that let the residents decide. The one that pay the taxes here in person, the 43% of the people that pay the taxes, right? And like, we don't want to hear, oh, only if the younger folks don't get to vote. When the library was put on the referendum, when it was established, it was the same thing too, right? It was put on it was opened by adults. So they still have the same decision now. We can't close the library. It's up to the residents, let them decide. They don't want to pay the taxes here. You know, if they want it open, the library's open. We support it 100%. If they want it closed, that's another problem we got to deal with. You know, like what we're going to do with the building, what's going to, you know, so that's more issues for us. But we're pro-library. We want the library to stay open, but all we're saying is let the residents vote. What's wrong with that? I mean, I think we went out to talking to residents in neighborhoods, and a lot of people was misinformed on what's going on. They said, you guys were closing the library. I said, that is not what we're doing. It's going on the ballot for the residents to decide, period. I mean, everything else we hear is smoke and mirrors, right? Like, oh, I remember when I was 150 pounds with a six-pack too, right? I remember that. You know, but I'm not. You know, I remember when Bridgeton 20 years ago had Owen, Illinois, had a lot of different businesses here. I wasn't here, but that's when this city was thriving. You know, and everyone compares us now to then. You know, we got a lot of work to do to get back to being in that same area where we have a big tax base, which we don't. You look at Vineland. Vineland's library tax is close to $1.5 million. So that's what the taxpayers pay in Vineland. Millville's $880,000, right? So and that's based off of 1/3 of a million, you know, which is the library tax. So $300,000, not a lot of money, but that shows you how small our tax base is. It's very small. And only 43% of Berkshire pay taxes for everybody. You know, that's just not fair. So let's let the residents decide what they want to do. That's all we're asking there. Is Sherry still there? She left. And then, of course, ICE, definitely, you know, ICE, I don't like them at all. You know, I think I definitely 100% agree with any ordinance that we can pass here in the city of Bridgeton to limit ICE on city property. That's something that I think we should look at immediately. You know, someone said that if you're here next week, you'll be here by yourself, right? Because I don't think we meet next week. We meet next month. So let's make sure we get the dates right, because we want people to come back, you know, but let us do our due diligence also. As far as, and what I do need to mention, I would recommend that everyone get in touch with the state senator, Tester, because I did run into him in the community, and he said that he possibly can find some money in the state budget to keep the library open. So you may want to talk to him, because somehow he can find money to keep it open. We don't want it for a year though. We want money to stay open for at least 4 or 5 years, you know, so you don't have to, you know, come back and ask. Let's get him to do what he's there for too. You know, so he stopped me. I didn't approach him. He said he's getting thousands of calls. And I said, well, don't feel bad. I've been getting the same amount of calls. But what can we do to keep the library open? You can give us some dollars, let's find it. You know, so he said there's money in the state budget. You know, so I'm putting that out there. Let's reach out. You know, everyone should be at the State House next. Like, all the people should be there next. Telling him, like, hey, we heard that you have some money. Where is it? And of course, let me make sure I got everything. You know, Sherry's gone.
Thank you, Council. Spirit.
I did have one more So I gave council some pictures too that we're gonna pass over to Kevin. You know, especially at the Rite Aid, there's some folks, I mean, I think I drove by at 7:30 in the morning. You know, the homeless population, I know we're turning into Los Angeles. Because, I mean, they just took up that old Rite Aid or Eckerd's building and they're just living in the front now with the blankets, the sheets, everything. And then, of course, there's another guy on the side of TD Bank. I mean, it's innovative how he basically is in a cart and has his foot propped up against the wall, sleeping there. I mean, I said, I don't know how they decided to do this. I guess you're homeless. But at the end of the day, we have to look at what we can do with our homeless population here in Bridgeton. You know, I know Mays Landing Road is the only homeless shelter close by. But, you know, we got to do something because a lot of folks stop me near that McDonald's, that Dunkin' Donuts and say, hey, what can we do about this? So I was like, listen, I try to stay away from Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's, so I'm not usually in that area. But today I drove by there and took pictures myself to see. You know, I got to put my eyes on it before we can think. So council has it on for someone else, chief, if anyone else wants to see it, here you go. These are from today. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. So, being the most unpopular man in the room today, I have a job to do and I'm going to do my job. I thank everybody for being out here. We pay attention. We did listen. You have a right, you have a voice, and we're here to hear it. I'm human, like everybody else, and I try to absorb as much as I can, but disrespect is never good. And I do my best to respect everybody. I have to demand respect in that, because we have to be fair. If I'm listening to you, then I'm asking you to please give me the same courtesy of listening to me. It's not much, but that's all I'm asking. With regard to the three primary issues that I heard here today, I do have comments on. As Councilman Edwards said, and the other council colleagues, you know, I watch TV, social media, I see the deployment of federal agents in disguise as immigration and customs enforcement, and it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. This is not what we all signed up for. I feel, I expressed this earlier, I believe in my heart of hearts that we have good, strong, solid, contributing members of our community that are unfairly being treated, regardless of their immigration status. They are hardworking, they are contributing financially to our city, our community. They are, for the most part, law-abiding citizens here within our city, and they are contributing to almost everything that we have, including our Social Security program, and they can't benefit from it. So, you know, it breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart. Having heard exactly what we heard tonight and my council colleagues, I'm going to ask the administration and our solicitor to review what the laws are, and if there is an ordinance that we're able to pass, I will support it 1,000%. If you could, and Mr. Vega, if you could also craft something to place before us as early as our August 18th meeting, please by all means have that prepared for us.
Council President, you had asked earlier about it. I went and pulled it, so I have it for you if you want it.
That'd be great if you can give me that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Although you interrupted me while I was talking.
Sorry about that. I just want to make sure we can sneak out the back way and get it.
That was a friendly, I'm going to take that. As far as the library, as it was stated, we are not anti-library. What we are is, quite frankly, anti-deficit. As Councilman Edwards said, we spent months on our budget we rejected our budget because it was too high. So we can't have sacred cows. Everything has to be on the table. I mean, we have to be honest. There's some things that we simply cannot afford. There's just some things we can't afford. I mean, it's just the reality of it. You have a household budget. There's things that you want, but if you can't afford it, you can't have it. We're saying, as representatives of the city, that we were elected to, that we're asking the residents to take a hard look at what they want us to spend the budget on. Real simple. If the residents say, we want you to spend the money on the library, we just spend the money on the library. It's really that simple. That's what this is about. This is not about us closing the library. This is not about us saying the library has to close. We're not saying that. And if the residents say it's going to stay open, it's going to stay open. But we got to find a way to fund it. And even if the residents come back and say, you know, don't fund the library, doesn't mean that the library is going to be closed. It just means it puts more pressure on all of us to try to find ways to fund the library. So there's hope there as well. But our goal is to place this and every other issue with regard to our city. And that includes all line items on the budget. Every last one of them. We're looking really hard to try to find ways. As Councilman Edwards said, the 19 cents is still too high. Too high. I get people come up to me all the time saying, why are my taxes so high? They say it all the time. So, something has to give. Something has to give. We can't say it's too high, but we're okay with, paying this. Can't say it's too high, but we're okay with having this. Something has to give. So we place in a position where, we have hard decisions to make. Absolutely. We took this on, and we have hard decisions to make. But we are also trying to be as transparent as we possibly can. When we say there are no sacred cows, we have to look at every single expense and make hard decisions. Plain and simple. Hard decisions. And there may be an area that you feel is very important, and you feel like you want to protect it. Okay. But guess what? There's other areas that other people think are very important, and they want to protect it. But something has to give. So again, we're asking the residents to tell us if this is something they want us to continue to pay, and we will. If the answer is yes. As far as the homeless population, New Jersey has a Code Blue program. We participate in that Code Blue program. Yes, it's definitely overnight. Doesn't do a whole lot for the day. And that's something that we have to take a look at, to try to figure out how we can have it 24 hours. But they also approved on a pilot program, Code Red, which is obviously the opposite, for when the temperature is really, really warm in the summertime. That pilot program is only in certain counties. I think 4 counties altogether, and Cumberland is not one of those counties. But that is something that we can certainly take up with the county, and maybe that's something that we can work on as a collective to address. But the bottom line is we only have one homeless shelter in the whole county, and it's in East Spine. Doesn't help people that are in Millville, doesn't help people that are in Center City, Violent, and it certainly doesn't help people that are in Bridgeton, that are unhoused. That's another issue that we got to figure out. And that's a challenge that is dear to some other people. But we don't have the money. The money's not there. We do the best we can with Code Blue. Each year for the last 7 or 8 years, we've been fortunate enough to do that. But there's no dollars for that either. We come together as a community, we raise those dollars from the city and other community partners, around, and we try to do what we can do. But there's no dollars for that either. And that's another hard decision and a heart-wrenching decision to have people living on the street in the wintertime or in the summertime or anytime. Living on the street is heart-wrenching and very difficult to observe and not be able to do a whole lot to change their circumstance. Again, I thank you all for being out here. We realized that it was going to be contentious. We realized there was going to be a lot of people, and you guys did not disappoint. But again, we listened, some back and forth, but it's all right. We enjoy and appreciate the passion from our young people. Look forward to watching you continue to grow and be active members of our community. And believe me when I tell you, we do listen. And just like sometimes with your parents, you listen, but you don't always get what you want. But it don't mean we don't listen. And again, I thank everyone. I always like to conclude by thanking our first responders. While most of us are running away from danger, they're running towards it. Our police, our fire, our EMTs, our public works, all of our civil servants, I salute you and thank you for the job that you do. With that said, Madam Speaker, we have a reason to go into executive session.
No, sir.
If we don't, motion to adjourn is in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Any opposed?